I'll say something negative about myself. I'm a total doofus.
Tales of Weird Stuff presents January mail call.
That previous video was kind of a bear. That Epson just, it did not want to cooperate. And I thought that the next computer that I was going to tackle would be a bit easier, and it also is already not going well. So I'm taking a little bit of a break from that, and I decided to do something a little easier. In that previous Epson video, at the beginning of it, I had mentioned that over the last couple months or whatever, I've had a bunch of events happening, and a bunch of them were at my house. In getting ready for those events, I did some cleaning and some reorganizing, and through the process of that, I found that I may have a problem. And that problem is I order stuff on eBay, Amazon, elsewhere. It arrives and I say, oh, neat. And then I put it somewhere and promptly forget that it exists. I have a pile of stuff. So I think I'm just going to go through this pile of stuff and I'm going to open these packages one at a time. And you know, the contents are going to be about as much of a surprise for me as they're going to be for you at this point. All right, this first package is a pretty recent one. I'm pretty sure I remember what this one is. This one's arrived within the last month. Yes, okay. I decided to order some decent flux. Oh wow, that is a loud, crinkly wrapper. In the video I did where I was modding all the GameCubes, I had a lot of troubles with the soldering, and a fair amount of that difficulty that I was having was due to not having appropriate flux. So I ordered some. So hopefully that problem will be fixed. I've had some recommendations of some additional like solder tips and some other things to do and to try. So I'm gonna go. I haven't ordered the tips yet, but I am going to, because that does sound like a good idea. I read up a bit about them, and I think that will help my soldering game a lot. And then this, I think this one also, yeah, 1130. So this is also a fairly recent package. I think I remember what this is, and this is not likely to get a video of its own. Oh my goodness. See if I can get this open without damaging myself. Oh, for crying out loud. What did this mean Santa? All right, let's see. Can I just... I think this blade on this razor is not as sharp as would be ideal. So now I have something else to order. Oh my goodness. The blade on this sucks. I'm gonna have to see if I can find another blade. Yay, more tape. Okay. Yes, okay, this is what I thought it was. I ordered a couple sets of memory for the SGI-02. These are I may have misunderstood the labeling on these. These are supposed to be... I'll have to check these out. These were supposed to be 256 megabytes each, because I was hoping to upgrade my O2 almost all the way to the max. So it'd be 512, and then I've got 128, so 256 would be 768. Anyway, very close to the maximum 1 gigabyte that can take. Now, the way that those are labeled, I wish there was consistency in how memory modules were labeled, because they are either labeled, this is the capacity of the module, or they're labeled as, this is the capacity of the set of modules installed that you have to install together. And it's never clear which is which. So it's not clear looking at that labeling if these are 256 megabyte modules or 256 megabyte kit of 228 megabyte modules. So I'll have to check that out sooner rather than later, because they were for sure listed as 256 megabyte modules. And this, when's this from? Oh, this is, I know what this is. This was something I bid on and didn't think that I would win, and then was very surprised of like, did I actually want to pay that much? Okay. So this is a pretty uncommon shmup game for the Commodore 64. Focus, please. Called Espiel. This also came out for, I want to say, Atari 2600 and TI-99 of all platforms. It's, at least when it comes up for Atari 2600 and TI-99, it goes for a pile of money. This wasn't a huge pile of money, but it was also listed as untested. And there was a picture of the inside, so I'm not going to feel bad about opening this up quickly. The inside is kind of interesting. I'm assuming it must have been a very late cartridge release based on how it exists inside, because it is just epoxy blobs. And a 74 LS 138, and the solder on that 138, that looks really janky. So if it doesn't work, there's the only thing to possibly repair about it is that 138. Top side of the board looks good. The bottom side, aside from this schmutz, which I'm not sure what that residue is exactly, and even the pins look really clean. So it'll either work or it will be a piece for my shelf. Maybe if it doesn't work, I can manufacture a repro board for it to put in this case, because that's easy enough. All right, it's going to take a moment for me to go on to the next package here. So I'm going to do something that at least a few of my friends won't like. I'm going to say something negative about myself. I'm a total doofus. When I got done with that last segment, I stopped the recording, and then I opened some packages and talked about them, and on and on and on, and did not restart the recording. So there's two packages I'm going to talk about very briefly because they're kind of cool. So this one had come from Japan, and I was very confused when I picked up the package. I was like, what the heck did I order from Japan? I could not even remember. And I pulled out these two PlayStation games that I had completely forgotten that I had ordered. I probably ordered these maybe January 2023, maybe February. And they are in gorgeous condition. This one still has the end label and the discs. I mean, there's a little bit of dust on it. There's like a tiny scuff over there on this one, but they look. Oh, you can see my new lights up there. Boop. Anyway, hopefully those new lights will illuminate the desk better, and some of the problems that I've had in the past with really deep shadows and stuff on the desk will be resolved. And then this is a version. So this is Arkanoid, and this is Galaxian. I'm so good at reading Japanese here. I can I can figure out the names of these games. This disc looks even in better condition. I mean, it does not even look like this disc has maybe ever been used. So I picked these up because in my January 2023 teaser, I had said that I wanted to do a video about the Negicon controller for the original PlayStation. And these two games both support that controller, and they were not released in the US. So I think at this point, aside from a couple baseball games, I think I have every game that supports that controller. I'll need to double check my spreadsheet, but I think I have everything. The other box. Oh, I wanted to point out also while I'm thinking about it, the annual Commodore Computer Club Christmas ornament. A couple of the guys in the club collaborate to design and 3D print those ornaments and give them out at the meetings. Anyway, so the other thing that I opened was this video card. This is a Wildcat Realism. I want to say it's a 500. So this was not the last or the greatest card that 3D Labs made, but I believe it was the last architecture that they made. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know if the drivers supported it, but I believe the hardware has the functionality to support all of at least OpenGL 3.0, maybe a little bit past that. Now, when I was looking at this card, I noticed that it looks like there's maybe like some capacitors missing, like over here and up here, and there's a bunch of solder pads that look like that. So maybe with some of these other components, some of these other chips that aren't on this one, because apparently there's some kind of an extra breakout board that maybe has additional outputs or something, and those would require extra chips and extra capacitors. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. It says right back here, Realism 500. Okay, so I was right. There was also at least a Realism 800, and the Realism 800 is a giant beast of a card. I would really like to get one of those. I think that it might just be more RAM and it might be dual GPU on a card. I'm not sure. Anyway, it should be fun to play around with that because it is a very different, weird architecture. Now I am pretty sure this is another video card that I also ordered a long time ago, and this was another case of I'm going to put in a bid on this item. I'm pretty sure I remember what this is. Yes, I'm going to cut towards myself. Kids, don't do this at home. Do it at your friend's house. I'm ornery today. This was another case of I'm going to put in a bid for something, and surely it will go for more than this. And then, a few hours later, congratulations, you're the winning bidder. But this is a super cool item. It's kind of not. This is a Matrox M3D. Now, those lights are really reflecting. I had one of these back in the day. This is a super, super weird card. And what makes it weird, so this came out around the same time as the original Voodoo graphics. It's based on a very early PowerVR architecture. And so it is an add-on 3D card, so you need a 2D card for it. But you'll notice it ain't got no video outputs. So the way this card works is it renders you've got 4 megabytes, I want to say, of local memory that is just textures and command buffers. And I'm actually not sure if this is a tile-based architecture. Imagination has recently, within the last year, released the documentation and driver source code for, I think, all of their hardware, going back all the way this far. So I'm for sure not going to do a driver for this, but it might be fun to play around, going directly to the hardware on this. That may be in my future. Certainly, if I had infinite free time, I would love to make an open source OpenGL driver for the realism for Linux. But my understanding is it is a very, very complicated architecture where there's very little fixed function hardware and everything is programmable. So writing a driver for it is a pretty titanic amount of work. But this is a much simpler architecture. So being able to get, even being able to get to, yay, I got a triangle on screen should be much easier. So it does the rendering, and I think it's a tile-based architecture. So it does the rendering to an internal tile cache and then just writes the tiles over the PCI bus to your actual 2D card. So it doesn't need any local frame buffer. I believe is how it works. I'm not 100% positive. It could... I know for sure that pixel data gets copied from this across the PCI bus to your actual 2D to your 2D card. Anyway, so this is pretty cool. It came with the original box, and it came with the original software, the version of Hexen 2, which has been opened, and the original driver disk and the manual. So it was pretty cool. It was not cheap, but it was a good price. I was surprised that I got it for the price that I got it. And then while I was looking for that box, I found another box back there, and this is from Limited Run Games, and I honestly I don't remember the last time I ordered something from Limited Run Games. I've got probably half a dozen or so things that I've ordered from them. I have a pretty strong preference for physical media. But I do remember ordering this. Wow, this has been quite a while. So yeah, this was the special edition of oh wow, I should get this out and play this. This is the special edition of Panzer Dragoon for Switch. Now, I do believe... Whoa. That was exciting. Yes. So I do have the actual original Panzer Dragoon, and that is what I paid for it probably 5 or 6 years ago at a game shop. Oops. Get that on camera. So that is what I paid for this probably 5 or 6 years ago at a game shop. Prices have gone up since then. It was for sure way before the pandemic. This disc looks good. There's some weird kind of scuff stuff. I've played it. I haven't played it all the way through. But it is a super fun game. And so when this came up on Limited Run, I was very, very excited to get it. And then, and that's kind of the problem. I know other people have other problems with Limited Run, and I have some issues with them too. But my biggest issue isn't really their fault. It's that you pre-order something and it's a while. It is a while before you receive it, and you get this box. And at least me, I get it. I'm like, oh, what? Okay, I'm gonna set it up, and then I'm gonna have to go back and look at my spreadsheet. It has probably been I don't even know when this game came out. It was a real long time ago. It was a real long time ago. So, some fun stuff. I've cleared out my stash of unopened boxes. I have some toys to play with. Some of these will likely come back on the channel. Some of them, like these memory sticks, that computer will come up on the channel, but I'm not going to do an installation video of the memory. I already did that once. I don't need to do basically the same thing again. So some of the stuff will come back on the channel. Some of it won't. I'm probably not going to play Panzer Dragoon. I probably won't play SBL, but the speech synth cart will someday come back. If there's any of these things that you're more interested in seeing than others, certainly let me know down in the comments. If there's any of this kind of hardware or these games that you have particular nostalgia for, I love hearing those stories too. When people leave stuff in the comments about, oh, I had one of those computers back in the day and I did this cool thing with it or that neat thing with it or whatever. I like hearing those stories too. I think that is a big part of what keeps me going on YouTube, is just being able to connect and interact with people and hear other people's stories. Because I already know all of my own stories. That's boring. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you clicked the like button. If you are interested in seeing any of that future content, I would encourage you to click the subscribe button. And until next time, try to remember the good stuff.